we're going to be discussing the DKSQ Notes. This is the easiest and most effective way to take notes. Note-taking has always been hard to figure out. You never know what is important and what you need to write down. The DKSQ Note system is an easy and effective way to take notes, especially if you are required to remember and recall the information later. The DKSQ Note system is taken from the Cornell Note system, but has a few useful changes. It is easy to learn and easy to do. It would not be useful and effective if it were hard to do. Let's talk about DKSQ Notes. It consists of 4 parts: the details, the key points, the summary, and questions. The details are every detail that is or might be important. The key points are the big ideas, the central topics about the details. The summary is typically 5-sentence summary about the content, and we'll give you specific directions about the summary later. And then the questions are what topics might be asked on the test. In completing each of these sections of the note process, you are assured to better remember the content later. Let's talk about each of those 4 parts. The first part are the details. Now, when you read something or watch a video as you are now, this section is where you write down all the details you will need to remember. Names of people and what they did. Dates of events, what went on and where did it happen. The sequence of events can be bulleted for information, but details must be included. And then document descriptions, what it is, what it means, things like that go in your details. These detailed notes can look however you think they should, but they should be legible and must be orderly. I highly recommend, let's put a star by that, I highly recommend you write information down as you see it on the videos. I try to bullet or number the information to make it easy for you. It is also very likely that the details will be your homework. Details, homework. This will be from an assigned video or reading typically found on edmodo.com, and we'll discuss that later. The second section of the DKSQ Notes are the key points. The key points are to be done after you have finished your detailed notes. They are to be done after you finish your detailed notes. These are your main points, your main ideas. After the details are done, you step back, you evaluate what the most important parts are and what the most important themes are. These are your key points. Typically, there will be 5 to 8 key points taken from the detailed notes. Your third section of the DKSQ Notes is the summary. For the summary, you will be working both independently and in small groups. Independently, you will be writing a summary statement that starts, I learned, ... and you fill in that statement. Now, I'm not looking for a 4-sentence statement. I need a well-written, well-thought-out, I learned statement. I will give you some tips and some advice on how to do this, but I am expecting you as 8th graders to be able to write this as well as you can. After you have finished your I learned statement, you will work in a small group writing an extended summary statement that starts, we learned ... Now this is where you go around your small group, whether it's 2 people or 3 people or 6 people, and you talk about something important that you learned from your detailed notes and key points. This is what you compile together as your "we learned" statement. You'll be taking information from each group member and incorporating that into your summary. This will be called the "I learned, we learned" summary. The last section is the questions. The purpose of this section is to get you thinking about the STAR test in April. The STAR test in April, it's I think April 20-something. You will be able to pull out information that will be tested from this questions section. There will also be times where I give you specific questions to write down and keep that are important and show typical testing ideas. Now, you're probably wondering, what will it look like? These DKSQ notes will require 2 pages in your notebook. You will begin your notes on the left side because that side is for learning. We've talked about that many times. The second page will be folded in half and labeled key points, summary, and questions on each half page. On more occasions than not, you will have to put in and add a page onto the left side. To do so, you will need to cut the holes off a loose leaf piece of paper and paste it or tape it to the bottom left side. Now let's take a look at what this will look like. Here is my notebook, and I have my detailed notes here, and I have my key points, my summary, and my questions here. So I have put in and add a page here, and all it is, I cut the holes off of this side, and I pasted it down here on the bottom. And I started my notes here for the exploration and colonization unit, and I started writing them down. And I noticed when I was getting about here that I was not going to finish all the notes on one page. Typically, because of how you write and how others write, it's typically large. And so you will need to add in a page. So you cut the holes off, paste it at the bottom, and then you can fold it up here. And when you get down to the bottom here, you just continue on writing your notes. When you get down to the bottom of this page, you can go to the back of that page. And so these notes took me 2.5 pages for the detailed notes. Now, this is everything on that video of the exploration and colonization. So those are your detailed notes. Now, when I finished those, I took and stepped back and I evaluated my detailed notes. I looked at what could the key points be, and I came up with 5 key points. And all I did for these is I said, know the differences between colonization and exploration, which is the first real section of our detailed notes. That's really what the whole thing is about. So that was a key point. And I went on for 5 more of those as well. I looked on the inside and I started my summary with an I learned statement. And you see my I learned statement, that is short compared to what I expect of you. I learned there were 4 major countries that explored the New World, blah, 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 blah. And then I have a we learned statement that takes up the rest of the page. Your we learned statement will be longer than your I learned statement because you are incorporating your team members, your small group members into this statement as well. And then the questions part. I looked here at my detailed notes, at my key points, and what I said in my summary, and I pulled out some ideas that I think could be seen on the STAR test in April. That is how you do your DKSQ notes. We'll see you around.